Hey everybody, it's Kathy Boyle. I'm president of Chapin Advisors. Today we're interviewing another member of our circle of influence, Joseph Gonzalez with Major Strength. Now, the circle of influence is meant to allow you to find an expert when you need one and not make a mistake. Finding an expert that works with you and has your personality, your language skills, and also is good at what they do is really difficult to find. Making a mistake with that expert is very expensive in terms of time and money. And I personally don't know anyone who has time or money to waste. So let's get it right from the get-go. Use our circle of influence to find your expert. So let's talk to Joseph Gonzalez and find out what it is he does. So Joseph, you have a really unique specialty. In the big picture, give us your elevator pitch. What is it that you tell people that you do?
Sure. Well, the first thing that I ask people is, have they ever had something stuck to their teeth? Everyone has experienced this before. We've tried to floss it out. We've tried to go to leave lunch early and eat a piece of bread to dislodge this intruder, but it's always there with us. It's this nagging feeling, right? But what if this issue weren't in your teeth, but in your lower back, in your shoulders, your hips, or your knees, right? A lot of people will try stretching or Pilates or yoga or what have you, but none of these things seem to seal the deal for them. And that's where I enter into the picture.
Okay, so back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, anything to do with your musculoskeletal system, is that it?
Provided there are no bone fractures and there's no torn muscles. So as long as no structural damage, I'm your guy.
Got it. Okay. All right. So then let's go into how does this work? So am I seeing you for an hour? Are you doing adjustments right away? Are you analyzing the problem first? What do we do?
Sure. So first things first, before I work with anyone, I'll do a 30-minute consultation over Zoom. I have to get a better understanding of your personality. Are you a person that's frustrated easily? Do you need to have all the answers right now? Are you patient? Are you curious? These are the kinds of things that will help you. Obviously, if you're impatient, it's not going to help you. But these are the things that I look for as a barometer of whether or not you can do the work. You are ready to engage in this kind of work. Every session lasts for about 60 minutes. Sometimes I go a little over, sometimes it's a little under. What I do in person, I'll assess someone, how they breathe, what range of motion their joints have access to, how they walk. And then that's where I say, okay, now we start building skills from ground zero. How do you breathe? How do you shift your weight into only one hip? And then we go from there.
All right, so let's talk about that standing on one leg and breathing. What does that do? What kind of, that's where you have to have patience, I assume, but that's actually harder than it sounds, right? And what does that accomplish if that's an example of an exercise?
Sure. So let's first define the task, right? If I want somebody to stand on one leg, most people will just lift up the other leg and say, hey, congratulations, I've done it. Ta-da, we're good. Moving on. That's not how it works. For me, there are very specific constraints. When you shift into one hip, let's say if I'm loading my right side, does your right hip rise higher than your left? Can you feel weight on that heel? Can you feel inner thigh and the back of your leg, hamstrings versus your quads? If you feel thigh muscles, you are not loading efficiently. So I need you to load and feel the right things. If you're just completing the motion, no dice. It's not good enough.
So do they have to have a mirror in front of them to see things like, is my hip going up?
No, I actually recommend people to not look in the mirror when they're troubleshooting these drills because it comes down to body awareness. People have heard about this mind-body connection. I take that up quite a few decibels. So with people are used to saying, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this, I give you a definition for what those feelings really mean.
Got it. Okay. So now let's go big picture. Well, two things. One, I want to know what kind of person needs you? Like, how do I know to call you? And what's the difference between you and a PT person? So I've injured myself somehow. I've got a certain amount of money that I can spend to get myself better. How do I decide?
Sure. So for the first thing that I kind of mentioned already is that there's no structural damage. So your bones are not fractured, nothing is torn, there's no abnormal growth. I don't deal with any of that stuff. Go see a doctor, right? The second thing for PTs and chiros, a lot of these professionals have excellent training and background in dealing with things that cover 80 to 90% of the issues. So they'll show you a muscle activation, they'll release your tight quads, they'll give you a stretch or something of that kind. But these things will not take care of that last 10 to 20%. And these problems require someone that can do the due diligence of investigating. Look, I have to take the time during the entire session. Can you feel this? Can you manage this? Can you change this position on your own? And it's more of a troubleshooting issue. So it's not about someone passively fixing you. It's about you taking the time to fix yourself.
Got it. Okay. And then, so how long does this take to work? How long do people stay with you?
So typically, if you don't have a lot of demands as a person, like you're not very active, could be a handful of sessions. 2 to 3 sessions could give you what you need to just carry on with your life. But let's say you are a senior manager at a firm and you love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? You want to stay competitive with those 20-year-olds coming into your gym. You're going to need more references. You're going to need more skill in order for you to tackle father time in your joints.
Got it. Okay. And then let's go again, big picture. What's your background for doing this? What makes you able, and are you unique? Are there other people that do this?
Sure. So in the world, there are exactly 3 people that do what I do: my mentor, his first student, and myself. My background is in mechanical engineering from MIT, so I always have a little bit of a diagnostic mind running through things. I've been a personal trainer for 10 years. My first 7.5 years were at New York Sports Club, Crunch, and small boutique gyms in the city. The
Mhm.
last 4 years, I've been studying under my mentor, learning about cognitive neuroscience, biomechanics, and psychoanalysis. In fact, now the 10-year plan is to go and get our master's in psychology so that we can become licensed psychoanalysts in the future.
Okay. So mind over matter. So how do I find you? Where are you?
So I am everywhere on social media, but I am most active on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn URL is Joseph F. Gonzalez, and my website is www.mejorstrength.com. And if you go on my contact, you can book a 30-minute free consultation right on my website.
We love it. All right. Thank you so much for being in our circle of influence. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you.